Howdy, everybody. Today is Friday, August 15th, 2025. I'm Sweets. This is Sid, and this is our Friday end of week check-in where we recap what has been shipped on Recoup for the past week, and we plan the week ahead. Starting it off how we always do, in one word, Sid, how you feeling today? In one sentence, what do you need today?
In one word, I'm feeling iterative. We're moving back. And in one sentence, what do I need today? I think I want to, some momentum would be nice. Looking for some momentum towards our what are we coming into, like this month and a half into the quarter. So, how do we increase momentum going into the second half of the quarter?
You're right. Today marks the halfway point of Q3. And so that's a great context setting. On my side, I'm feeling powerful, and I need priorities for next week.
Easy.
Yeah. Kick off with recap of what was shipped, or do you have a different starting place?
Let's kick it off.
Okay. This past week, we shipped the Create Artist Flow and release reports. I'll give a quick demo. The goal was to have those done last week. We did not have them done last week, so those are now both done. So if you go into Recoup and you make a new artist, you'll find that the process is improved. And if you want to create a release report, you can. I'll start with the ladder of release report. So if you want to get deep research and a report that's generated just like how the major labels want, you just say create a release report for No Broke Boys. This is the name of a song for my active artist of Disco Lines. No Broke Boys is a song with Tinashe. And so this is going to go, and it does deep web research. If it finds it needs to, it does additional research after it. Then it generates a text file, saves that text file as a knowledge base, sends it to you in an email. That's it for this tool. So I'll also demo what the new Create New Artist Flow. Create New Artist Flow, this is our core onboarding. Whenever a new person signs up, this conversation starts off automatically. And before, the knowledge base that was being generated was very short. It was a big degradation from when we were using Claude 3.7. And so for a few weeks, we have not had a good new artist onboarding, which is probably impacted the retention that we get, because if you have a poor initial onboarding, you're not going to come back. And so if I put in an artist like Tinashe, related to the Disco Line song, it now goes through the full flow and outputs the document in the correct formatting. Create New Artist Flow was updated by Veerball, and the release report was generated by myself. Both of these have been leveraging a new V5 SDK of the AI SDK feature called Prepare Step, which we are using such that whenever a specific tool chain is triggered, like Create New Artist, we force a series of tools to be called.
What is this artist does not exist?
That's a good call out. I saw that as well a few times, and I haven't looked too deep into it.
Does that mean artist does not exist in our database? And so
it likely means we're passing the wrong, the system prompt is passing the wrong account ID in to try to update the artist with the PFP, because this is not getting updated with PFP. So in the step where it's trying to set the PFP, it's saying artist does not exist.
Because I was getting this for a couple research reports too. The artist does not exist.
So it seems like sometimes it does, because in the following one we got successful update, but in the previous one it did not. So that seems to be one of the points where it's still not all the way there. Artist does not exist. Got that written down. Let's check in to see how we're still doing our deep research. So this one takes a long time. It really goes through, and it takes 3 to 5 minutes for this specific tool call to finish. And then after that, it goes through the rest of the process. Other than that, Veerball has been updating this bottom left section. The PFP is now circular. You can see that there's already our outline for us to be throwing in the progress bar of the credits being used. We now have this little drop down that gives you additional info. We're emulating 11 Labs design for this update, and this is going to eventually show the number of credits that you've used and the number of remaining credits that you have. That way we can properly track credits to understand who is using the most credits. And then as we start to understand that, be able to start charging for the credits that are being used. So that way we can break even on LLM costs and some of the other expenses that we have. So we just got back the deep web research, whole bunch of reasoning, and now it's generating the text file that it'll eventually send. This web research is way more in depth than what we had before. You'll notice that it's actually too long to fit into what we have. So this is another bug, is that I can't read the full deep research because it's so long it gets cut off. And so we need to fix the web result cutoff. Those are two simple bugs that we can fix. But this includes a whole bunch of, and you can tune it from here. So like we found with Sam, let me share that inside of Slack. Recoup. Sam wanted specific things, like specifically focus on the UK, don't include Billboard, make sure to get specific TikTok creator videos of people using the song, include percentage changes from previous week, include editorial playlist info, make the summary more punchy and avoid too many words. In the email, don't include next step, make the email the exact same as the report. So far, these feedback we are implementing at the prompt level. And so you'll probably notice that this does not include some of those, but does include the artist does not exist bug when it tries to attach the knowledge base. But here's an example of what that deep research report comes out to. Gives us overall breakdown, release date of the song, keys of it being viral on TikTok and number of views, #1 Billboard for Hot and Electronic, streaming info, number of streams that you get on Spotify in the first 24 hours, getting global placements on Spotify playlists, 2.25 million daily streams, aggregated platforms, global streaming headlines, TikTok stories, overall charts. You get UK numbers, Ireland, Australia, different regions, whole bunch of citations down at the bottom. So if you're like, how did it know this, or where can I verify? The citations down at the bottom, you can see it's a bunch of different sources: Relentless Beats, Out Now Magazine, Apple Music, TikTok, Spotify. You'll get different charts in here. You'll get social platforms like Instagram. It's scraping across the internet to get you this data. On the Create New Artist, we have created a new artist. The biggest bug right now seems to be this artist does not exist. That we'll need to clean up.
Did it?
And I'll stop there. Go ahead.
Wait, go all the way. Did it attach the?
Yeah, here's the output of the Tinashe research.
Okay.
And
cool.
so this is what all the artists get now. You get professional starts, career highlights, musical style and influences, discography highlights, notable projects. The discography includes popularities, online presence, audience and fan base, recent activity, industry connections, unique selling points, career trajectory. And these get included in every single follow-up prompt. So this knowledge base, the reason we generated it first, is so that every conversation you have with this artist being active will then be influenced by this knowledge base. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So our goals were to get release report in a point where Sam sends this to his team and get the create new artist flow such that it is knowledge base is on par with Claude 3.7. We'll start with the new artist flow. Is this now on par with Claude 3.7, or do you have a method that you want to judge whether this is on par with Claude 3.7?
It is.
Goal achieved on create new artist flow?
Yes, there. Yesterday I was trying to create some new artists, and I kept running into some issues where it would like stop at the generate text, and I sent Verbal the exact conversation. And so I was running into a couple little bugs here and there, but it seems like it's it's not every single time. So again, like maybe we need to just at least like track. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to track when somebody creates when the create new artist flow is triggered, does it get all the way through so that we kind of we can at least have an idea of how many users are experiencing it positively versus like running into little bugs that we're not aware of that it's happening, you know? And this is just from me acting like a user trying to onboard somebody yesterday and running into it like some errors 3 times. And me knowing like, oh, this is probably a bug. So I just like canceled it, started a new flow, kept going. But like most users will not do that. So
there's some bugs in the knowledge base step of the tool chain.
It seems like it, yeah. So like the two little bugs that we need to be aware of as on create new artist is the artist does not exist bug and the generate text file lagging bug, which I sent in this thing.
Cool. And on the release report side, the goal was to get Sam to send it to their team. Do we know if Sam has sent the report to their team?
I do not think so. I sent him an email yesterday. Let me see if he's hit me up since then. I have not gotten anything back from him yet, so I don't know if he sent it to his team, but I sent him a message saying, or wait, let me check other. Give me a second. No. Sent. And send them a message saying, we've updated the release agent, check below. It'd be great to get your thoughts on the design. Does the structure work for quick scanning? The copy, is the tone and detail right? Data, is anything missing or needing? Once we have these notes, we can make final adjustments. Let me know exactly what you need changed, if anything, for you to start showing this to your team and using the agent across campaigns. So I'm gonna let him live with the notes, and we'll talk to him, or I'll ping him on Monday if I don't have anything, to see what he needs from a copy position or from a release report position to move forward.
Copy. So our goal was Sam sends the report to the team. Status of that goal is unknown/no. So release report goal potentially likely not achieved of getting Sam to send the report to the team. Why was that goal not achieved? Likely because we don't know if Sam forwarded this to his team. We don't have access to his email. And 2, our call with Sam was on Thursday, and today is Friday, and he's having some changes in his personal life, and it seems like there's a lot going on in his life. We've hyper-focused on someone who has a lot going on in their life right now. I would argue the reason we did not hit this goal is a result of Sam and their social life and their personal life, and not as a result of the tool quality.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
I'll stop there. deleting the goals from this week to create space for next week. Big change that I think allowed us to get there is we started with the end in mind. We've now made it so that on specific tool chains like create new artist and create release report, for some of the tool calls, we append a message that includes here's the format we expect in the output. And that has allowed us to get much more consistent outputs on our text file generations on tools like create release report and create new artist report. So with that, I'm good on my side. You want to talk about your goal of getting those leaderboard records updated?
Yeah.
Fat Beats 24, Rostrum, Tiger, and Cantor, get them on the leaderboard. Last week you said you were blocked with Gemini 2.5 downgrade. The model dropdown should have unblocked you, and so that was blocking you from doing outreach to be able to achieve your goal last week.
Yeah, let me share. Okay, cool. So we're up weekly active users by 75%. Hopefully that's due to the outreach. I sent an email at the beginning of the week saying that we're at GPT-5, which got a spike in active users by midweek, which was interesting. We're going down in product market fit survey, which is interesting again, because it goes back to like people are joining and they're trying, but they're not sticking around and sending messages. But something's telling me I want to go back and just verify that this is the logic behind this is correct. So where are we at? We got new people from Cantora. Nick used it, which is great. Alexis from Rostrum, great. Nina Wolf, great. Matt, great. I don't know if he was on the list, but he was somebody. And a bunch of new 1 RPM users because I've been hitting them up individually. Eric's back, which is great. Feels right management. That's so we probably.
So you've got Rostrum and Cantora, Fat Beats, 24, and Tiger. Are those included or not on the list?
They are. It looks like they are not on the list. Although.
So 24 was included last week. This week they are not on the list.
Correct.
But you have, so it seems like last week you had 2. Last week you had 24 and Rostrum. This week you have Rostrum and Cantora.
Yeah, and 1 RPM got added, I guess.
They were not on your list when you talked last Friday. When you set your goals.
Correct. Yeah. So which is interesting. So 24, let me even think about this. Why did 24 not? I didn't reach out to them because they were on it last week. I didn't reach out to them personally. I sent them the message about the general GPT-5 update, but 24 did not send personal. So it seems like when I send personalized emails, people jump back on and try it or set meetings with me. When I don't and send general stuff, they may or may not, which is a good finding. So I guess just more outreach, more personalized is the more outreach, more custom, or just personalized emails and convos to get people back on. All right, cool.
How would you summarize what your blocker was from achieving your goal this week?
I don't know how to summarize my blocker.
Yeah, why was the goal not achieved that you set last Friday of getting Fat Beats, 24, Rostrum, Tiger, and Cantora on the leaderboard?
We got Cantora.
Right, you got Cantora and Rostrum, lacked Tiger, 24, and Fat Beats, so that's 40% completion of the goal.
So Fat Beats, I did send personalized emails, so that is, I need to figure out another channel it just seems like the emails just were either read but not moved forward with. And then with 24 and Tiger, I didn't send personalized emails because I focused on people not on the list last week rather than keeping them on the list. Which just makes me feel like I just need to get a better system of email management and CRM because it's all very manual right now.
Improve system of email sending. So your blocker is lack of personalized emails, and your to-do is improve your system for sending emails.
Correct. I won't even say that, actually. No, remove that. Spend 1 hour a day sending emails. And I think blocking the time to actively send emails to everybody on the leaderboard and net new people will result in fuck a system. I just need to send more. I just need more action. That's all.
Personally, I have found getting on live streams with people, or in your case, if you're not doing live streams, just getting on calls and having them show their screen gets them very excited to keep using the product. And you did that this week with Sam. If emails are a good way for you to activate, great. Personally, I have found that getting on a live stream, it's public marketing, it's testimonials, it's making the artist feel special, it's helping the artist use the product, highlights bugs, very return on investment positive of time. I have found getting on from a marketing and business perspective to get on live streams with people that use the product.
So what is your pitch to artists? Is it, hey, let's do a one-on-one live stream where I show you how to use the tool?
I put out a tweet and I say, hey, we've got this new feature. What artists should I reach out to? What artists are going to use this? And then in my replies, it fills up within a half hour of at least 5 people. And I reach out to 2 of them that are already actively using the product.
Yeah, and I think, it's also...
So in this case, we've got deep research, we've got release reports, we've got GPT-5, we've got an LLM dropdown. We ship bunches of features each week that are already not accessible inside of GPT, inside of the direct chat interface, and are useful for people that are actively spending time in the music industry trying to build a career.
That's true. I'm also thinking through like what's another blocker, or it's not a blocker anymore, but like so like I have a lot of one-on-ones where I'm demoing the product, but a lot of it is me demoing it to them, and instead of me saying go here, set up an account, all right, now add your artist, like them steering, which then makes it them not add to the leaderboard. And then I'm like, tell me your artists. I'm doing my traditional method of onboarding instead of optimizing for the new create new artist flow. So I think moving forward now, it's like, let them be in the driver's seat and like, okay, go create your own artist, put in your artist name. All right, let's walk through, like, let them drive it. And then that way, that way it gets a new. That leads me to next week though, is what would add value to that is credits, payments, free trials, all that shit. Actually, but before we get into that, I want to just write down. I have one question. I have one question before we dive in about the code base. Before we dive into net new stuff next week. Give me a second. I want to pull it up because I want to operate from the actual code.
We can see you.
Can you see me? Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I have a question about this, and I basically wanted to figure out our exact create new artist flow. So I asked Cursor to tell me exactly what's going on. And so it walks me through everything. And my question lies in Send message, backend processing, set up chat, load. Where is it? Here. So we have currently AI calls the create new artist tool. In that tool's description, it still has this tool loop, but then it calls the tool chain, which has the 17 tools. Is there a reason why this tool loop still exists?
Legacy code that can likely be removed.
Okay, all right, perfect. So I was wondering what the difference is of this. The second thing,
that one that your mouse is on right now is the main loop. That's what actually gets the job done. The one your mouse is on now is our legacy loop that worked with Claude 3.7. We haven't tested if removing it changes the flow at all, but my hypothesis is we can remove that and nothing changes in the end human experience.
Got it. Would this have been is this part of Verbal's ticket of improving create new artists, is like to clean up the code, or is that just like don't touch the code, the legacy code, unless absolutely necessary?
It could be prioritized. We don't know what happens if we delete it. If we delete it, maybe the experience changes for some people. I agree, deleting it it's going to be clean code, but the squeaky wheel gets oiled. And
okay, cool.
Right now, that's not a squeaky. It's squeaking because we're on the call and you're looking at the code base.
Well,
I agree. Cleanup is important.
I'll give you the reason why it got squeaky was because I went into this tool yesterday, to test to see if I switch search web here with deep research instead, would our knowledge base improve or not. Upon trying to go do that, I got confused at what's happening. Like, which tool loop is it? So I got stuck in trying and implementing because I wasn't sure which tool loop was which or whatever. Now that I know, obviously, I can move forward with the test. But that was where it got squeaky, was because like somebody else going into the code and looking through it, like it made it more confusing to understand it and what was actually happening.
Agreed. This is a core principle of Clean Code by Uncle Bob Martin. Don't repeat yourself or dry your code. Repetition of code creates confusion like this. I'm curious of how this fits into your mental model, because you sent me a video on Instagram the other week of an old guy that likes to ride around on his one wheel and say what it's like to build an AI company, and he doesn't actually write any code. And he said, throw your clean coding book out the window. It doesn't matter anymore because LLMs can duplicate the code as much as they want. And I'm hearing you now say, actually, dry code is better. And so I'm curious of what your current positioning is and how you viewed his video in relation to the experience you have right now of getting confused in our code base.
I think Uncle Bob, I trust Uncle Bob more than the guy on the wheelie. And I agree, clean code and dry code is important. Like, and if anything, like train the AI to have those principles and help you move towards them. Yeah, why not? Like, it can't hurt. I do think that what his the reason why I sent it to you was like really like just obviously because we just got off a call earlier with you like telling me the principles, and then I saw that, so I was like, ooh, I'm just gonna do a burn real quick. But but on the other side, he had some good points about like how LLMs and vibe coding operates, where like it's if you don't have the documentation to tell the AI where to look in the modularity, then yes, things could get really confusing because there's so many places to look. So I do think there was a good idea of like, like for example, like having this document of like what the create new artist flow is and why, and how when a user clicks this new artist button, this is what happens, and documenting it. So if I were, as a vibe coder, to ever go and work on this tool, I can just say, reference the create new artist MD. This is what happens. I want to do X. And like, it just gives the LLM a better understanding of what the current thing is without like, missing anything, I guess. Like, so I guess just more documentation about things is always helpful. which is probably a principle in Uncle Bob's book as well, right? Like document everything.
Uncle Bob says code should be self-documenting. The second you write documentation, it gets out of date when someone changes the code, and then it becomes more confusion because the dev who changed the code didn't go back to update the docs. And it's best to just follow the principles of simple, non-repeated code. And if code is human readable, you don't need documentation because the code is concise. It doesn't repeat itself. The variables are all human readable. So he actually argues away from documentation, and instead, if you write clean code, it removes the need for documentation.
So that, I guess, is the principle that I would question in the age of LLMs, which I think we've talked about this before. Is you had mentioned, like, you know, are commenting what things doing, like adding value to the LLMs or not, or is, you know, adding documentation around certain workflows or MD files, like adding value or not to the LLMs. So I guess it all depends. I guess it all goes back to context too, because I don't necessarily need this documentation, but whenever I start a new ticket, I always have to tell the LLM before anything, investigate our code base to understand how this currently works, and then put it into the scratch pad, and then reference that scratch pad as you build this ticket. So like it's all, you know, technically, like the workflow is always going to include some kind of documentation before execution. And if we can, I guess, mitigate the need for that documentation up front, it'll save some time in the long run. But yeah, I don't know.
I agree with you. Naval says, anytime there's rules, there's insincerity. Rules are meant to be broken. If you have a rule, you have insincerity. Because like you're seeing in your experience, rules are great, but there's a lot of edge cases in how we're building. And I appreciate that you don't stick to rules, but you're doing this live and you're focusing on your experience and letting what you find to be the best practice override any rules that might have been taught to you by someone that's not immersed in the context.
Yeah, today, exactly. That's a good point. Yeah. What principles still apply, what doesn't, how things have changed, you know? Yeah, I like it. All right, cool. So where to next?
So next week we're getting to credits, payments.
I have a list of a couple little things that I want to talk to you about, but they're just me like saying things. They're not like prioritized. But high priority is, yes, let's figure out our payment system. Let's figure out this. In my perfect world, because going into next week, I have a meeting with Rostrum, who currently has, I've onboarded a couple people, I think 5 or 10 users from their teams, and told them that, you know, they get that month free trial. So I want to be able to say, hey guys, like here's the options you have moving forward for payments, right? Like let's lock in these payments. I also realized that 1 RPM, we currently have 17 1 RPM users, like, which is amazing. And thanks to Steve.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and so like now my thought process is, how do we start to move them? Because they're not all on product market fit. They're not all this, but I think release reports are going to start to move people towards setting up more scheduled actions. If I can like get on one-on-ones with people and set up release reports for their campaigns, then that's going to be a huge unblock. And I want to be able to make sure to say, like, you can have your release reports, but there's a limit until you need to, like, you know, set up payment and to continue to use them. I also think it'll help me with demos, because if certain accounts are able to have access to higher quality models, I'll be able to do demos easier because I'll be demoing with the higher quality model, you know, and then they get downgraded to after the free trial or whatever it is. So those are the things I think are going to be beneficial to that. Can
you state those again as bullets?
The ability to quickly get people to sign up for the a tier and have a reason to do so. Currently, there's no reason to do so. I'm like, I have to push people to the $20 a month tier, and that's only on calls because I'm telling them to do that. There's no other reason for that. So setting up the system so that there is incentive to pay when they get value, I think is the biggest unblock moving towards our goal of the quarter.
Subscribe UX incentives. Incentives for people to subscribe, whether it's via pain or via the ability to get additional pleasure. That's the bullet, or were there other bullets?
Me being able to use a higher model, my specific account, or demo, like the other bullet is being able to let users get a taste of higher models without us overextending our ability to fund that forever.
Yep.
And then the third is and the most important, I guess, is have the ability to onboard a team of people by next week to a tier that makes sense. This is a little trickier because the requirements may be different depending on who's joining. But I guess, yes, setting up the credit system and the subscription system so that we can easily set it up for them, or they can do it themselves.
Subscribe UX with incentives, all models in the drop down, and tiers for team or individuals.
Yeah, my biggest, yes, that is it. And I realize none of that said credits, but I guess like going into that, like we need to think, what information do you need from me to help build this, or are you blocked by to build out like V1 of a subscription tier, credit tier? Because like obviously like this could get really robust and hard really fast, especially when we start to talk about Teams accounts and what features are people using versus not, and how many credits equal a token, blah blah blah. So how do we simplify this to make it as easy as possible for you, while also letting me be able to upsell these tiers?
For now, the goal is to track credits. We should be able to have you make a dashboard that shows who is using the most credits, because whoever's using the most credits are the highest. Those are the people we should be targeting for upsell. The question, we've been talking through it. Right now in our database, we only have remaining credits. This is what a row looks like inside of the credits table. Account ID links to the account, so that way we know which account it is. Timestamp, a normal timestamp field likely of when we updated it last, and then remaining credits. It's the only thing that we have. The question is how to calculate total credits. I replied with the question, how do we calculate total credits? Free tier, give them, I'm thinking one credit is 1 penny in AI Gateway credits. And so $1 is 100 credits. And so if you give the free tier 333 credits, that's $3.33. Anybody gets that, that should be more than enough for any musician anywhere in the world for basic usage. Paid tier, $90 a month, gets you extra credits. So you get a little bit more than if you paid us $90 or $99, that should only get you $99 in credits, but we give you a little bit extra. Thinking is a lot of people aren't going to use all of those credits. And the people that do use all of those credits will likely then pay for more, which leads into, and so that value, this one of the initial credits that each human gets saved as total credits, we can add a new column for total credits is what I'm thinking. And at the start of each month, or I guess we can use the timestamp to know when their specific credits were updated. And then each month, if someone logs in and it's been a month since this timestamp, we reset remaining credits to whatever their total credits column is. If they hit 0 and it has not been a month, that is a point of upsell or blocking them, or that comes into the subscribe user experience. So I'm thinking a new column for total credits get added to this. That way we can, one, we know the remaining credits, and then when it rolls over into a new month, we know how many credits this person should have moving forward. As I say that, I think we might not need it. We might be able to do without it, but I think for now, adding this column is relatively simple, and it prevents us from having to do additional logic like query the Stripe table, see if they're subscribed to get that total number. Top-ups is where I do have questions. Once we run out of credits, I can buy more credits at 100 credits is billed at $1 to the end user, which is exactly $1 in AI Gateway credits. That way you pay for additional credits at cost. If you want to get additional value, you subscribe because you get more credits than what you pay for. But if you're in the free tier or you're in the paid tier and you run out of credits, you buy more credits at cost for what those models run as inside of the AI Gateway. How would these top-ups impact the total credits field is something I'm curious about. Do top-ups need to modify the total credits or the remaining credits? And Veerball's question, I think, is excellent for this. Are we planning to roll over topped up credits to the next month or expire with the current billing cycle? So
Yeah.
For example, if I run out of credits on July 30th, I have an important release. I'm Sam and I need to top up my credits. I put in $20 on July 30th. The next day is August 1st. Do my top up credits disappear, or do my top up credits stay with me? And do you have any thoughts on what happens on the 1st if I bought $20 in credits on July 31st? Or do you have other things you want to talk about before we get there on this current mental model of credits?
What's the easiest and fastest way to do this? So that I can start selling $99 subscriptions, or users can start self-serving themselves $99 subscriptions.
Easiest and fastest is we don't talk about top-ups. We only focus on the credits that they have. If someone's in a paid tier and they run out of tokens, they get stuck there and they come complain to you saying, hey, I'm paying, I ran out of credits. Why isn't there an option for me to top up or do something else? And we kick this can down the road of top-ups.
Or we just offer, we offer another tier, right? Like you ran out of credit, instead of top-ups, like you ran out of credits, go to like our next tier, which will then like re-give them another variation of credits, but they're paying more monthly, right? So like it's just, okay, instead of one free tier, or free and then one paid tier, it's free and then two paid tiers, pro and, or premium and pro or whatever. And so giving them the option of instead of topping up, just moving to the next tier because they need more credits.
We could also do that. No ability to top up, only go up in subscription tier.
Because my gut,
that the need for top up and simplifies us to just tiers.
My gut is telling me that instead of topping up, do more of what Cursor is just like retroactively, like, I don't know if retroactive is the right word, but like just calculate how much they're using and then charge them for their usage, not like, and then we don't have to worry about like rollovers. It's just like you can't go over technically. You could just keep using it more and more and more and more. Like,
and we just auto bill you because we got that info when you signed up via Stripe.
right? And like as
and it's less of a frictional UI.
And as agents get more and more valuable, it's less care about how much they're spending and more about, are they getting the value from it? If yes, then I'm going to just keep using this tool. So like I'm leaning towards that model,
like
but
that.
It just
no top-ups. Just build them retroactively. So once you drop to 0, if we have your credit card, you keep going, we allow you to go into the negatives. When the month recaps and your credits are about to be refilled, any negative number we then add on to whatever we're about to charge you via Stripe. If you're in the free tier and you hit 0, you stop there because we don't have your credit card. We can't allow you to go negative. That at that point we pop up and say, hey, you're in your free tier, you've ran out of credits. Either wait X amount of time until your credits refill or update to the next tier.
Yeah.
That sounds simpler. I like simple, so remove the concept of top-ups. We allow paid accounts to go negative when it's time to bill for the month. Any negative credits get charged at model price.
I still think we
in addition to sure in addition to monthly billing. I mean, you could go T3 and then just obscure the concept of credits and just say all well, no, even they have higher limits.
Yeah, we need the you're saying, yeah.
But I don't think charging on top of credits, on top of the model,
is the right way to go. It's more about charging for the tier and what features we allow per tier.
Yeah, like you're like specific tool calls, like you're talking about, because there's still a lot of stuff that's not going to be included in this that we still need to track. I think right now the goal is to track credits and get those charged so that we're on par and allow you to continue to think, what are the things that we are adding that they don't get if they go to Perplexity, that they don't get if they go over to T3, that they don't get if they go over to these other platforms that we charge, that makes sense to differentiate between the free and pro tiers. Is it number of release reports? Is it image generation? Likely not image generation. Is it any of our tool
artists, right? Like
is it number of artists
available? I think
you get 1 artist on the free tier, you get
3,
10 artists on the pro tier.
So like that's one thing, and then 2 is emails. That's like a huge right? Like being able to just send an email is one of our
and talk to Recoup, or being able to send an email from
Recoup without any branding, like without Recoup branding, is a huge upsell, right? Like you can't do that in any LLM right now.
Yep.
So I think that's like is a huge upsell of like, but I think going through like, what do we offer? And maybe this is not during this one sprint. Maybe this is a longer sprint, but like, what do we offer the free tier? Is it like, do we need to add a free model, like a free month or a free 7-day trial of all features, everything that you can do, and then downgrade them after a 7-day trial to the free tier?
Yep. Yeah, I think those are all great. I think right now in my opinion, the most important thing is to accurately track credits Because when we accurately track credits, you're going to say, well, we're missing our Supabase costs. We're missing our Perplexity costs. We're missing our OpenAI costs. And I think getting all of those included and tracked first puts us in a position where we can then extend to these other things. But if we try to rush to other places too soon, we're not accurately understanding the costs that we need to calculate in the billing. And so that's why I think credits are the most important thing for us to be tracking on par, not overcomplicating it.
I understand. Yeah, just getting it right and making sure we can track.
Yeah, so I'm thinking how we will lay out this week is put Veerbal on all the feedback that you have, give him very specific tasks. That way he does things and he doesn't get caught in this loop of, I have questions about things that Sid and myself need to talk about. And then he doesn't ship anything actually for credit usage. I mean, I only told him this on Wednesday. I told him to implement the progress bar, and he's been making small changes to the PFP with still no display of credits. So I'm going to take over billing. I'm going to add the progress bar in first. I'm going to start tracking the changes, and Veerbal will handle your feedback that you said of artist does not exist bug, web results get cut off, knowledge base error, clean up the tool description to remove your tool loops, and any other bugs that you have.
Perfect. I like that. I have a list. Where'd my list go?
And so what point do we, for Veerbal, it's going to be feedback. So chuck as many items in that list and prioritize it. And he's just going to, the goal is for him to eat away at that as much as he can.
I have a list of thoughts, and you can decide whether they're big or small for Veerbal this week. Like if they require more upside. The first one is a deep research button. Like just giving the user the option to be able to select deep research instead of have to prompt it, similar to how you can just literally follow the open ChatGPT version or Perplexity version, which is just in the model input is the option to toggle on deep research, which then calls that tool for all prompts. That's also probably should be obviously a paid feature. Or capped for free users. That's one. The second one is the ability for users to manage their scheduled actions so that when Sam sets up his release reports, he is able to easily toggle them on and off, or go in and change the prompt, or update the users that are getting the release reports if things change. So I'm thinking that might need to be like a tab on the side if scheduled actions are there, or like tasks or whatever you want to call it, that tab, which just allows him to manage things a little bit better. And then the last one is custom agents per account. So currently, in order for Sam to run a release report, we will have to go in and tell him what the prompt should be for his specific customization of that release report, right? You just like updated the prompt to send get Sam what he wants. So for the better user experience is we say, Sam, we added your release report agent to the agents tab. But it's customized to him. So like the customized prompt of the UK and do this and do that, do this is is all there, but only Sam sees that agent, not Steph, you know, because she's going to want a different kind of release report. So thinking,
What's the value of making it private and not allowing other people to use that agent?
well, I mean, letting the user decide whether they want it to be private or public or whatever. Like, we're customizing this with Sam. And so like the value of him having some kind of ownership around his prompt and having the choice, having to let the user choose whether he wants to make it public or private, you know, or share it with his team, you know. So I was just thinking easy way is just adding a account ID column to the agent templates, and then like a is public, is private column to the agent's templates. And so making it easy to show Sam a specific custom agent or letting them add their own custom agent. This sounds actually, now that I'm talking it out, more like something that's going to need more thought out, and we shouldn't just give to Veer Ball to figure out.
Both of those last one of tasks and add new agents, we could give to Veerball, and he will definitely have questions, which is going to slow down his shipment if those questions can't be answered before he gets to the task.
Okay, so then let's focus more on the bugs and then the deep research button, because that's more straightforward, correct?
Correct.
Do you think that's enough, or should we give him more stuff?
I see it as 5 bullets, so potentially 5 tickets. His minimum that Veerball needs to hit is 11. Some of those might be broken down into multiple tickets. So maybe it's enough. We're right on the corner, on the edge with artist does not exist. Web results get cut off on deep research. Knowledge base errors on create new artist. Remove the tool description, the tool loops from the tool descriptions, and a deep research button. And then if you come up with more stuff during the week, send it to, did you just try to share screen and then stop sharing screen?
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen because I can show you, or I can ask you for your opinion on this is, when I'm trying to find my, oh, here it is. Hello. Can you see my screen now?
No.
Here we go. You see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So
yes, sir.
Example of their version. When you press /, they have like a tool list with deep research here. It's also cool because it tells you how many you have left on your thing.
220 left. And then when you're
but like they have like their tool list here. So create image, deep research. So I was thinking something similar. It might not need to be the / thing, but even if I like go into deep research, like they have like their tools down here, like with a drop-down menu to make it easier for users to understand what they can do. So I was thinking, okay, our tools can be obviously deep research we have now, but we also have create image that I don't think a lot of people know they can do. We also have send as email. Like we also have, and those are really like the big 3. Schedule action. Like, so making it easier for users to understand.
Can you add multiple in there? Can you do a / no, put back deep research like you had, and then try adding an additional one like image. No, it switches it out. Okay, so it doesn't let you stack them, but it lets you.
It doesn't let you stack them. It doesn't let you swap it, but it also like adds like examples.
Some of them gives you,
and it's cool because it also sets you up with like templates. So like deep agent mode, it gives you it just changes, like, your examples down here. Connected apps. This is kind of where I was going to with like why we removed the YouTube button, because we could just have connected and then have YouTube here with on and off. And then as we add more connections, put them here. So just thinking through basically like, how do we get users to easier access to our tools without having to like remember to type them? And I think that the solve is like putting them down here on our, like a drop down with tools and being able to select it. Starting.
So instead of a deep research button, you want a tools drop down with /.
A tools drop down with /. No, actually, instead, let's do like a tools here with like, instead of sources, just make it say tools, and then they click it, and then here's all the tools. I think / is.
So how's that different from a tools drop down? What's different between tools drop down and what you just said?
This one is where is it? I mean, the only difference is the user doesn't have to put the / to open the tool. Like they have the drop down is available on click of like a tools header,
So you're saying you want to drop down with no /.
Correct.
Okay, so getting rid of deep research button and adding tool drop down.
Correct. And yeah, we can literally take a picture of this, and we can start with like deep research and like the more modular tools. I can make a list, I guess, if we want to get specific, but just following this guideline. Like we have our model selector drop down.
Yeah, that's
and now
great.
We have a
list. So his main goal is going to be his tool drop down. That's the most important one. And then the rest are bug cleanups. Copy. And then I'll be focused on credits and payments. And the question is, what's the metric that I'll be tracking? I mean, Veerball could also have a metric for the tool drop down, but I think credits is, I've been having trouble getting Veerball to actually think about the business goals.
Yeah. So then, shift focus. Let's just, whatever is going to make more
credits. The goal, I think I add a tab to your founders dashboard, in the metric that we should be able to see is a leaderboard showing who is using the most credits. That way we can see who's using credits, how many credits, and get a leaderboard of credits, which lives in parallel of your list showing conversations and all the metrics that you track. What would be a better metric to track, or a better thing to track other than credits and how they're being used? Who's using them? I'm sorry.
No, I think that's great. I think starting there. A good place, because chat has a very similar functionality. If you go to chat, gpt.com/.
So I guess overall metric, at least 10 people using 100 credits is the goal. 10 people times 100 credits, and that will be visualized on your founders dashboard.
Cool.
Founders.
I like it.
DB. You want to talk through your goals?
On my goals, is to onboard 5 users to our paid tier.
What are your blockers for doing that? Specific. Onboard 5 users to paid tier of what pricing? 5 humans to paid tier of what price?
99.
99 per month. So what specific blockers do you currently have if you wanted to do that today that are stopping you from being able to start that
We
goal
do
on
not
Monday?
have a paid tier of 99 per month.
So if I go into Stripe and add a subscription of $99 and make no other changes, that's enough? Or can you be more specific in the blocker and what you need so that on Monday you can start charging?
Specifically, $99 per, a tier per month in Stripe gives access to all models. Is a good starting place for.
Are we deleting our $20 a month
No.
tier? Does the call to action button just get updated to $99?
No, because we currently have users at the $20 tier, and I don't want to mess that up. So I think just adding the tier is a good step.
How is someone signing up for that in your blockers for Monday? You're going into Stripe and you're adding in their credit card details, or they're clicking on the $20 subscription, putting in their credit card, and then you're going on the back end and changing the subscription they're signing up for, or something different?
The blocker is I don't know the answer to that. Meaning if we have the tier set up and it's easy for me to go into Stripe and send them an invoice or like a payment portal, then I'd go that route since I'm doing this white glove anyways. It sounds like the harder lift would be to create the option or the UI for them to self-serve it. But I don't think I'm blocked by the UI because this is more self-serve. I mean, this is not a self-serve. This is more me hand-holding. So if
do you want to try demoing that right now of you sharing your screen, going to Stripe and trying to send the invoice you're visualizing you're going to send them?
No, I have a 3 o'clock, but let me try it. I don't know if I'm blocked by it. I might be able to do it within Stripe. So let me work on that this weekend, and then I'll let you know on Monday if I'm actually blocked by anything or if I can just do this myself.
Copy. So right now your goal is onboard 5 humans to paid $99 per month, and current status is no blockers.
Current status is no blockers. I'll let you know on Monday.
Copy. Anything else before I wrap it up?
I think we're good.
If you stuck around this long, give us a like and a repost so that other people can see what it's like to build an AI agent platform on base in public. Leave a comment down below if you're using Recoup, any features that you want us to add or update. And if you have not already tried Recoup, go to recoupable.com.